Why did Americans come? And why did I have to live like that in the jungle? It was a very hard life.
Before going south, he was a very strong and handsome man. But after coming back from the battlefield, he was a weak and wounded man. But the most important thing to me was that he survived.
Together, Nia and Paul are headed back to their old battlefield. This is Nia's first flight, a 2-hour journey on Air Vietnam. During the war, it took him 3 hard months walking the Ho Chi Minh Trail. The Vietnamese called it the Trong Son Road, named for the mountain range that concealed their route. We called it the Ho Chi Minh Trail. More than 2 million North Vietnamese Army soldiers hiked this trail through the jungle. Nguyen Van Nia remembers the months of walking, usually barefoot. There were many hardships through the heat of summer and the harsh monsoon rains. Disease and hunger were constant companions.
There was never enough food or water to drink. No place was clean. It was very difficult. Every time we stopped to camp, we couldn't move around freely. We had to make camouflage carefully, so we weren't discovered by the helicopters. There were many dangers.
Near the Dak Rong River, the Ho Chi Minh Trail crossed into South Vietnam. The North used this route to carry tanks, trucks, men, and supplies for the final assault on Saigon. The winding trail is paved now, and a suspension bridge, built with the help of Cuban engineers, now spans the river.
Here, there was no bridge as it is today. And at that time, the trail was small, narrow, and rocky. It hurt my feet. About this time in the evening, we cook our meals and then take the food and begin the trip again. It was very tough.
Nguyen Van Nia lost many friends on the 500-mile journey south. They buried the dead and left the wounded and sick behind in makeshift field hospitals.
As I think back about my friends, it is very painful to remember. Soldier by soldier, they fought the enemy and were killed. All of my friends were killed.
The dead from that brutal journey down the Ho Chi Minh Trail are remembered now at the Trong Son National Cemetery. There are 14,000 graves here, but many are empty. The jungle quickly consumed those who died, leaving nothing to bury. This corner of Trong Son belongs to the dead from Tay Dinh, Nia's home province. There are 692 graves here, each marked with a single yellow star, a name, the dates of birth and death, and the epitaph, Liet Si, martyr.
This is the first time I've been here at Trường Sơn Cemetery. It is very sad to see this place. I see many people who die on the Ho Chi Minh Trail. and many men from my province.
I can remember walking through our national cemeteries, and the experience was very similar. To me, it doesn't matter where the cemetery is. It's a very moving experience to see this.
Seeing Vietnam by tourist van is a new experience for both veterans. Neither Paul nor Nia used the roads during the war. Like a search for buried treasure, these teenagers dig for the artifacts of war. They are too young to remember the significance of this place. This heavily fortified area went by the unlikely name of the Demilitarized Zone. It divided the north from the south at the 17th parallel, the Ben-Hai River. Nia's diary begins with a poem about this bridge, written by a friend who did not survive the war.
One narrow river to separate the whole nation. Night after night, there is no life on the other side. I look towards home, missing it. Over 7 years on this bridge, always alert to the enemy, because I am a People's Army soldier.
The whole conception I had of the Vietnam War was that South Vietnam was a separate nation unto its own. North Vietnam was a separate nation. And the North was trying to take over the South. I believe that the North was the aggressors. And I was here to protect the South from the North.
At that time, there were two different governments, the North and the South. The South was occupied by foreigners. In the North, we were taught we should liberate the South.
After I've read Mr. Nia's writings, they viewed us as the aggressor.
I didn't even know what Americans looked like. When I heard they invaded the South, and I should go fight them.
Nia found inspiration in his friend's poem, a reason to fight for his country. For Paul, there are no answers here, only more questions.
I'd give anything to know what he's thinking, what he's feeling.
The diary gave Paul an insight into Nia, but much about this man and his country remains a mystery. This is the royal tomb built for the Emperor Khai Dinh. Nia was born into a country that was part of the French colonial empire. Vietnamese emperors sat on the throne, but had no real power. A stirring nationalism soon would challenge French domination.
Vietnam.
During World War II, a devastating famine swept through the country. 2 million Vietnamese died of starvation. It was then that Nia joined the military and the Communist Party. For 8 years, he fought with the Viet Minh to drive the French out of Vietnam. The Communist victory also broke the power of the last emperor. Children play soccer now in the fields of the Citadel, the fortress of the Vietnamese royal family. When the emperor lived here, inside the forbidden Purple City, no ordinary Vietnamese could enter.
Xin chào anh. Xin chào anh.
This field became a battleground in 1968 during the Tet Offensive. The walls still carry the scars of that long battle. The bitter struggle that transformed Vietnam from the days of the Mandarins left its mark not only on this place, but on the survivors as well.
Every night, I hear the echoes of gunfire. Who can stand this war, this kind of life? I wish to see the peace. I wish to see free water buffalo on rice field and many fishing boats on river. I'm sorry our love has been apart. I wish we had our young life together, but it is lost.
Zip line. Chào cô. Yeah. Ask them if they like the army.
Tôi có thích ở trong quân đội không? Yeah, we like.
They like? Tell them I'm very impressed with their warmness. Okay. Okay.
Cao lắm.
I'm đẹp lắm.
Cao lắm.
Cao lắm. Yeah. Yeah, it's very beautiful.
Cột cao.
Cột cao.
Cột cao.
Yeah, very high. Very high mountain.
Theirs was a war without front lines. Neither man was safe standing at this viewpoint. Paul's old base was on the plateau at the bottom of this pass.
Well, here's a change. I don't remember this place being here before.
An Khe was a dusty little town that grew up around a big military base. The base is gone now, but bits of the war turn up unexpectedly.
Oh, here's the local motorcycle shop. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. That's a drain. It's very good use.
This is the only town Paul Reed saw during his year in Vietnam.
They've put in some new houses over here.
The local people still make money from the military. At great personal risk, they collect scrap metal and old ordnance and sell it to scrap yards that grew up around the old bases.
Is it mortar?
Yeah, this is mortar.
81?
I think it's 81. It could be an 82, and you'd never know the difference unless you measured them. These are the old style.
Yeah.
And you drop this down this tube, see?
Yeah.
And then you go like that. And you come down like this.
Yeah.
Boom. That's what I used to fire a lot.
Parts from old tanks, trucks, jeeps, and artillery casings are piled high, waiting for a buyer from Japan.
They said we can't go near the base. Can we walk up the road just a little bit?
Yeah, yeah.
Paul would not see his old base. It's now run by the Vietnamese military. But many of the things Paul hoped to see vanished